Well, PGC, as you know, postgraduate certificate in education, means that people who apply for it, the requirements are that they've undergone and successfully passed the degree. Ideally, we're after candidates with at least a 2-1 degree, but we can also sort of look at candidates which have a 2-2 degree, but they've got additional experience in areas related to education. Having said that, there are a number of pathways into the PGCE because there are other areas that can be recognized too. But I think what's best to do is to actually look at the university website where those pathways are outlined and people can actually look at them in detail.
Now, you've just announced the launch of this PGCE for later this year. It gets underway in September, but beforehand, was there a demand for it here in Gibraltar?
This has been something that's been on the cards for a while, and we've been working closely with the Department of Education. In fact, they're partners with us in developing the PGC. But without having launched it, just working towards its implementation, you know what Gibraltar is like. People heard it was coming. We have, I think, over 120 expressions of interest, and it was only advertised yesterday. So yes, there is certainly a lot of interest in it.
And will the PGC be available at primary and secondary levels?
Yes, the way that the PGC is structured essentially is a generic PGC, because it is fundamentally about training people to teach, giving them the skills to be able to engage, to motivate, to nurture the children that they're teaching. What will happen then is that there'll be opportunities to specialize. So if you want to train in secondary, for example, you want to be a secondary music teacher, you'd be expected that your degree is in music or a very similar subject. Primary education is broader, and therefore what you'll have is a broader sort of panoply of areas that you essentially train in. But the fundamentals are generic. It's about how you teach and how you engage and actually facilitate the learning process in the young people.
And will those undertaking the PGCE be based in local schools?
Well, the program has a placement component, but it also has the lectures, etc., workshops and so on that take place here at the university. So there will be 3 school-based placements where essentially they'll start in the first school, not actually first school, the school A, shall we call it, then school B, and then they'll come back to school A where they can sort of cross-fertilize each other with regard to what they've learned. So there'll be 3 blocks of placement over the 1 year. It's a 1-year intensive full-time course.